Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Intersim Esports Network for your Sunday night viewing. We're here for round number 3 of the Australasian Supercar E-Series, brought to you by My Private Seller. We're going super speedway racing, ladies and gentlemen. Daytona International Speedway is your location for round number 3. My name's Aidan Schultz. Joining me in the booth is Ryan Barber. Good evening to you, Ryan. Super speedway racing in a supercar, but super speedway racing. How excited are you for this one?
I'm really excited, Aidan. Good afternoon to everybody tuning in at home. Round 2 for My Private Seller Australasian Supercar E-Series did not disappoint us last round after they tackled 134 laps of Kansas.
Yeah, what a great round it was at Kansas, 134 laps. The championship standings that we'll go through very shortly. We're 27 and a half minutes into this 30-minute practice session, and we'll go across into qualifying very shortly. We thank everyone for tuning in here on the Intersim Esports Network across our platforms of Facebook and YouTube. Be sure to drop your comments down into the comment section wherever you may be watching. We like to interact with our viewers and make sure we bring you the best content we can. But Ryan, I just touched on championship standings, and you mentioned coming off the back of round number 2 how good that race was. We'll bring up the championship standings in front of you now as they are heading into round number 3 here at Daytona International Speedway. It is Simboys Racing, Troy Davidson at the point at the moment with 76 points. He's just 4 ahead of Southern Stars Esports Racing of Adam Malone. In third place currently is Raymond Yeager and 67 points in third. Raymond Yeager, after a win in round number 1, has dropped back into third place in the standings. Stephen Williams from DPR Racing there in fourth place, and none other than Paul Jackson from the Intersim Esports Network driving this season there in fifth place with 62. Tom Pritchard, Tom Maxfield, Pete Matson, Andy Barber and Jai Schultz round out your 10, Ryan, if you want to take the viewers through the remainder of the championship standings.
All right, 11th in the standings goes to Kay Donnelly with Barry Neal 12th. 13th is Nicholas Walsh and 14th is Darren McKenzie from Southern Stars Esports. Blake Urquhart and Gary Wellman. Ash Nessa and Aaron Dillon. Those guys are in 17th and 18th.
And if we go across to the 19th position here, we will see that Nigel Payton takes up that position with 35 points. Scotty Rankin from Indy Autosports is in 21st after the first 2 rounds. Not the start to the season, rather, that Scott Rankin would have wanted after coming second for season number 2 of the Australasian Supercar E-Series. Ruben Phelps there from Momentum Esports, a newly founded Momentum Esports there in 22nd rather, closely followed by Brett Campbell, his teammate there in 23rd. Brett Campbell, who was a hard luck story of last week, was going to have a solid result, didn't quite get the chockies in that one. We'll see where Brett Campbell goes in Super Speedway racing tonight. Christopher Finlay, Tristan Koch, John Quass, Greg Spencer, Aaron Bryan and Jorge Rincon there in the 29th. Kobe Jordan from Inside Lane Productions, they're driving for Gaming Den Esports in the 30th position. Steve Hoppett from Mad Dog Racing 31st. Philip Howe and Peter Pollard rounds out the 33 drivers that have contested the first 2 rounds here for the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar E-Series. But Ryan, we're just about to go across into the qualifying session now. It is a 5-minute 2-lap standalone qualifying session. So these drivers, all that draft that they got through the practice session, that's all out the window. That means nothing now. It's 2 of the best flat-out laps they can do around Daytona International Speedway to see who is going to get the pole position for round number 3 around Daytona tonight.
Yeah, these guys will definitely be trying to get every single millisecond of lap time out of this track. These guys do qualify extremely close to each other, so however fast they can get in their top speed, they'll be trying to get the best out of the car for these 2 laps.
100% they will, mate. You hit the nail on the head, and we're on board with Jamie Nankervis at the moment. He's the first one to go out and try and set a lap in anger. So backed by Simshed Broadcasting, he will be part of Momentum Esports through other stuff as well. Jamie Nankervis in the number 18 entry. He's going to be the first one to set a lap time, and we'll see where that will put Jamie Nankervis. So he's just coming across the strike at the moment, and he'll take the green flag for what will be the first of his 2 flying laps. We'll see where that puts Jamie Nankervis. But like we said, ladies and gentlemen, it is a solo qualifying session. So all the drivers are out on track, but they're out there all by themselves. We can only concentrate on one driver at a time, and that driver at the moment is Jamie Nankervis. He makes his way down the back straight. We go on with Darren McKenzie, the 02 Southern Stars Esports Racing entry. We didn't see Darren make his way into round number 2 last week. He's back here for round number 3, and I tell you what, he's a self-proclaimed lover of super speedway racing, and no surprise to see the 02 of Darren McKenzie back here tonight, ready for round number 3.
Yeah, Darren definitely loves the speedways, like you said, and especially the super speedways where the Southern Stars do have a pretty big team alongside of the Simboys team. So during the race, they will be using as much draft as they can, and the team strategy will definitely play here. So yeah, they are running as a solo qualifying session at the moment, but it'll be a whole different game once all these cars run track.
Yeah, Nicholas Walsh there, we're on board. He's currently set the quickest lap. You can see on your tower on the side, ladies and gentlemen, a 48.77 last time around. We'll see whether the 022 Simboys Racing entry of Nicholas Walsh can go just that little bit better here as he makes his way through turns number 3 and 4 at Daytona International Speedway. And he'll come across the strike for what will be his second and last timed lap. So we'll see what Nicholas Walsh does. Will he go better than a 48.77? He goes across the line very shortly. He's only about 3 1,000ths of a second ahead, and he didn't go quicker. So 48.77 is the benchmark. And I tell you what, Greg Spencer, Pinnacle Esports, just up into second position, a 48.78. So we've got not even a 1/10 of a second at the moment between the top 7. That's going to really change even closer in the next couple of minutes as we see this qualifying session really start to heat up. So currently, provisionally, as Raymond Yeager from Pinnacle Esports just jumps the 23 up into the 4th position, setting a 48.82 there, Ryan. So we've got Nicholas Walsh provisional on pole at the moment, a 48.77, a driver that has been doing a great job here for what has been pretty much his first season for the Australasian Supercar E-Series, closely followed by Greg Spencer, a 48.78. How close is that? Aaron Dillon, 48.80. Raymond Yeager, 48.82, not to be outdone by Darren McKenzie there with an identical time in the 5th position. So as we expected here for super speedway racing here at Daytona, the lap times are tight at the top, and that's exactly what we see.
Yeah, this is what I love about super speedway racing. Everything is so close, and the cars are going so quick. So we'll be seeing how drivers that are normally in the mid pack to the back of the field will definitely have a bigger chance at getting a better position tonight, seeing that the corners are a lot different than usual. But yeah, Raymond Yeager's had a really good time of a 48.74, so he's been looking really racy this season, and yeah, these guys are quick.
They're quick, and the interesting thing, and ladies and gentlemen, if you are tuning in here on the Indosim Esports Network, as we are on board with Paul Jackson, the man from Indosim Esports Network, just jumping across there, that's going to put Paul Jackson in the 18th position here in qualifying. He's not going to get the job done, but make sure you are if you are tuning in, you share the stream, you send it across to everyone. Make sure you don't miss any of the action, because this is super speedway racing and this is about to get interesting. But that's your grid, ladies and gentlemen. We'll bring it up for you very shortly for what will be round number 3 of the Australasian Supercar E-Series, brought to you by My Private Seller. It will be Raymond Yeager that got the job done. We missed that one real quickly, and he'll start in the 1st position. Nicholas Walsh on the outside of the front row in P2. Greg Spencer and Aaron Dillon will start off the 2nd row, followed by Darren McKenzie and Gary Wellman off the 3rd row. Kate Donnelly and Ruben Phelps off the 4th row, with Todd Maxfield and Peter Matson rounding out your 10. Brett Campbell and Christopher Finlay at 11 and 12th tonight as we roll across the page. In the 13th position will be Philip Howe, followed by Jamie Nankervis, Kobe Jordan, and Evan Horswell out of 15 and 16. Tristan Koch and Paul Jackson out of 17 and 18. Adam Malone and Nigel Payton will round out your 20 tonight. Tom Pritchard and Andy Barber with the Southern Stars Esports 11th row out of 21st and 22nd, Gerard Daly and Simon Ferris out of 23rd and 24th position. In the 25th starting position tonight will be DPRSimRigs.com entry of Stephen Williams in the 98, Jai Schultz out of 26, the lesser Schultz this week. Ash Nessa in 27th and John Class in 28th. Justin Witchy, a reigning champion and two-time back-to-back champion, sporting the number 1 from Pinnacle Esports, will start out of P number 9. Dylan Gray out of number 29, Dylan Gray out of P30. Sebastian Varndell out of Midline Sim Racing out of 31st, and that will round out your 31 starters tonight as Ryan Barber is in the broadcast booth. He's not in the race, and I had to give you a little bit of curry here for that one, Ryan. That's a rookie error twice in a row, mate. So I tell you what, do the young fellas learn from their mistakes? We're about to find out. But do the drivers learn from their mistakes as we're about to go 80 laps of super speedway racing here at Daytona International Speedway for round number 3 of the Ray White Gruel Gander is a major sponsor, but it is the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar E-Series as they are making their way out of pit lane now, Ryan. So Super Speedway Racing, Raymond Yeager will take us to the pole with Nicholas Walsh on the outside line. Looking forward to 80 laps here at Super Speedway Racing. It's going to be 3 wide, 4 wide. It's going to be frantic early.
Yeah, these drivers are going to be racing hard at the start, but yeah, you really don't want to be Nicholas Walsh and Raymond Yeager at the start, because when you're up at the front you do use the most fuel. So it's going to be interesting how these guys are going to play the start and work out how they will be starting the race tonight.
100%. You make a good point there, young Ryan. Up the front you will use a lot more fuel. So who's going to want to be the pioneer early? Who's going to want to stay up the front early? Because as we all know, super speedway racing, you can be in mid-pack doing nothing wrong, and then we always wait for the big one, and there's always going to be at least one big one as you see the size of the field make their way down the back stretch, just ready to take the green flag tonight. So do you want to be at the front early and use that fuel to just try and stay out of it in case there is that big one, but you move your way back in the field to try and save that fuel, and you can find yourself on the receiving end of an incident that you probably do not want. Good evening to you, Howie. Send it, Sim Boys. Good evening to you, mate. Thanks for tuning in. No doubt they'll be up here in the race at some point. We got Aaron Dillon on the outside of that second row. So we're about to come onto the main straight and we're about to go green. Ryan, as I just need to clear my throat. Excuse me. I'm getting too excited too early. But we're about to go green. Raymond Yeager will bring us to the green flag. The pace car makes its way into pit lane, and we're green already, and it's round number 3 of the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar E-Series. We're green straight away as we see Aaron Dillon. Nicholas Walsh was absolutely left sleeping there at the start, and at Pinnacle Esports 1 and 2 as they make their way down into turn number 1 and 2 for the first time. But Brian, we're not getting excited too early, because you have a look at these graphs, you have a look at how these different trains are going to form up as this race does pan out. But no incidents at the moment. We've got cars below the yellow down the back stretch. They're going, I'm going to the back, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want to borrow this. I'll come and see you in 80 laps time. But they make their way through turns number 3 and 4, and Raymond Yeager and Greg Spencer lead the way. But Sim Boys just on the outside line there, holding it there, but Nicholas Walsh and Raymond Yeager, they're those guys that we spoke about, Ryan, that they're the pioneers at the moment with the fuel, so they're going to be using a lot more fuel. Look out for Darren McKenzie. He's just going to sit there on the inside line in the third back on the inside line and just save a little bit of fuel. So Darren McKenzie, as this race does pan out, he'll be looking for a little bit of a friend, and he will be looking for someone to work with as the race goes on. But now it's just a little bit of feel each other out, and as we see Raymond Yeager and Greg Spencer drop to the inside line there down the back stretch. So here we go. The mind games have started already, and everyone just wanted to try and get that bonus point for qualifying, and they go, righto, I've done my thing, I've led a lap, I've got pole position, I'm going to drop to the back. As you can see, Raymond Yeager going completely to the back in this one. So the mind games have started, super speedway strategy started. We're only 2 into 80. Tell you what, Ryan, it's a long way to go, but the strategy and the mind games have already started by all the drivers.
Yeah, it's definitely been evident in the behaviour from some of these drivers, that they have been trying to get towards the back of the field and sit back there and save the fuel. It is 80 laps at Daytona, so there will be a lot happening at the moment as Aaron Dillon takes the lead momentarily. But yeah, we're on board with Andy Barber, and sorry for that. We're on board with Gary Wellman now. He's just sitting in the third position at the moment, and these guys are just sitting too wide, so they aren't risking anything at the moment, but we ultimately know that there will be a big crash later on.
Well, now you've said it, there's going to be, mate, because you've just put the commentator's curse on. But Simboy is leading the way, 1, 2, 3. We've got Howie tuning in on the broadcast. He's going for Simboys tonight, and nor should he not, because, yes, he's a teammate, but I tell you what, these guys know how to drive a supercar around an oval, and they're 1, 2, 3 at the moment. But Nicholas Walsh and we've got Toddy Maxfield up there as well, so Simboy's 1, 2, 3, 4. They'll want to actually try and work together here, but I'm not sure who that is on the outside line. It might still be Nicholas Walsh. They're going to want to get line astern because they're going to want to save their fuel. So, but it's all easy said and done as there's trying to be a third lane made by Pete Matson there up on the outside line. Is he going to try and get that third lane? No. Nicholas Walsh just covers off on him on the outside, and we're still only 2 wide here for the Daytona round number 3 of the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar E-Series. All gentlemen-like at the moment. Simboy's leading the way, 1 and 2. Pete Matson up 8 spots now, 9 spots up into the second spot, and he has got that high side line absolutely humming, and he wants to make his way to the front of this one. Pete Matson early in this series, Ryan, as we go 3 wide down the back stretch, and Pete Matson with no one to help him there, he's going to get left behind. But in saying that, the outside line, they've gone, no, I'm not going there. As they get very, very close, and they've thought better of that and gone, I'm just going to go 2 wide now. But Pete Matson, as I mentioned, early on in this series, he's had some really solid results. As Pete Matson just gets sent, and there is the big one. There's the big one. There's cars everywhere and behind. There's the first caution of the race. Pete Matson into the wall. There's going to be a couple of unhappy people there, and one of the Simboys cars were involved in that one as well. Not sure whether Paul Jackson was, because he's going backwards at 1,000,000 miles an hour on my live timing. So not the way that the guys wanted to start. It started off quite pedestrian-like, but 6 laps into 80, Ryan, the big one happened, and there it was.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't say the big one yet, because there's definitely a bigger one coming, but yeah, these drivers have been very careful for the first 5 laps of the race. So Todd Maxfield will take the lead of the motor race at the moment, and with Peter Matson starting next to him, if that is a double file restart. So these drivers might come into the pit lane and top up their fuel, but they have been given 2 sets of tyres, which they will not use during this race. So it's a big fuel strategy, so they'll definitely be trying to get every single lap out of the tank tonight.
Yeah, they will. They most definitely will. We'll go back to the instant replay, though, as we see these drivers just navigate their way around behind the safety car. We'll see what brought out the first caution tonight. You can see Pete Matson there just sort of on his inside line. So the driver, or on the middle line, sorry, the driver on the inside just came up into Pete, and the rest of the cars were really sitting ducks. There's a driver in behind there on the outside that's going to collect that car that got up into the outside wall. They've had a bit of an a Dillon moment. In the real world, he's up into the catch fence. There's cars into each other in the background. There's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cars that have received damage from that one. So, Ryan, we said it wasn't the big one. I tell you what, mate, I must say it pretty much was. We're probably going to have about 10, 11 drivers with damage early on in this one, only 7 laps into 80.
Yeah, after seeing that replay, it's definitely proved me wrong with not being the big one. So looks like everyone except Todd Maxfield and Christopher Finlay did go into the pit lane. So everyone's topping up their fuel and catching and dealing with those repairs that they will be trying to fix up if they have been involved in that crash. So at the moment, it's Todd Maxfield, Christopher Finlay, Gary Wellman, and I'd love to mention the Lesser Schultz is in P4 at the moment.
Yeah, good to see that you recognise the Lesser Schultz. He's doing a great job. Let's bring Aaron Dillon up into the broadcast booth. Aaron Dillon in pit lane at the moment. Schultze up in the broadcast booth along with Ryan, mate. I hope you don't mind us bringing you up into the booth. Super Speedway Racing started off the second row, mate. How'd that look from your view, mate? Not the way you would have wanted to start it tonight.
No, not really. So I think it's just one of those domino effect things. I was in the wrong place, and yeah, I think once it kicked off with the first two cars, nobody behind them could really do anything there.
Well, mate, you're not the only one. I think there was probably 10, 11, 12 drivers, as you did mention, a domino effect. There was a lot caught up in behind it as well. It took about 6 laps for the big one to happen. We're expecting it that early, and more so, mate. How's the car looking damage-wise? You're going to be able to get the Sim Boys entry back out there and keep rotating around and doing a couple of laps to finish this one off?
And I wasn't expecting it to kick off that early, but yeah, that's Daytona for you, I suppose, sometimes. But anyway, I've got 6 minutes of optional, so I might head out and see how it is.
Mate, get out there. It's Super Speedway Racing. There's bound to be, because Ryan has jumped in and already put the commentator's curse on and saying there's going to be another big one, mate. So if there's another one, you'll get some laps back, and you might get the Sim Boys Racing entry to the 013 up there and be able to fight for a possible win here. So a lot to go yet, mate. But Ryan, jump in to have a chat with Aaron as we're under caution really, really quickly before we let him go back up into his team and hopefully get the 013 up to the point at the end of this one.
Yeah, having 6 minutes optional repairs will definitely hurt your soul. So what would you expect once you go back on track? What would your strategy be once you know that you do have damage, and what will you do to bring your car forward?
Look, I'll just see what sort of speed I've got. If I've got no speed, well, I don't think there's any point continuing tonight. It's just, Daytona, you can't compete if you got no speed. So, yeah, I'll just run this stint out and see how the car feels.
Well, Aaron, we'll let you jump back up to your chat because we're just about to go green as they make their way down on the main straight. But thank you for your time, mate.
Cheers, guys.
Well, we're green again, ladies and gentlemen, and it is Todd Maxfield making his way off the start there. But how good is it for Aaron Dillon to making stuff available here on the Indasim Esports Network? But I tell you what, there's a lot of drivers that got caught up in that one, and I can see one that's not going to be very, very happy tonight, and that is none other than the 2-3-1 of Paul Jackson. He's 2 laps down in 31st. So a long way to go, 9 into 80, and the big one's probably just taken out about 11 cars, I'd say there, Ryan, as there's only 23 cars now on the lead lap as Cade Donnelly's a lap down. Sebastian Barndell from Midline Sim Racing, he's wanting to get the job done and lead a lap here, but he can't quite get that job done. It's actually Jai Schultz now leading as Varndell's come into pit lane. So Sebastian Varndell's come into pit lane, and Jai Schultz now, the lesser Schultz, leads the way here for the Australasian Supercar E-Series. And Ryan, we talk about the lesser and the better Schultz. My name's obviously Aiden Schultz. His name's Jai Schultz. Why don't you let the viewers know why are we the lesser and the better Schultz? Let them know as he leads the way down the back straight. It looks like he's not wanting to lead the way, though, as he's rolling off a lot, trying to allow Todd Maxfield to take the lead in this race. So let the viewers know where this little what would we call it, mate? A little bit of a rivalry that we've had, mate.
Yeah. Both Aiden and Jai have taken it amongst themselves to give themselves the nickname of the better or the lesser Schultz, depending on how they finish in the race together. So tonight, if Jai was to finish the motor race, he will still be the lesser Schultz because Aiden and Jai haven't been in a race together. However, it all started back in Discord when we made the new Global iRacing Discord, and started out as a joke, and now we're going to keep it going.
Yeah, 100%. And I must say that he is the lesser Schultz because I absolutely flogged him on Saturday night, I don't mind saying. He might as well not even have shown up because I was gone. No, in all seriousness, Josh Schultz doing a great job. He's in second place at the moment. Gregory Spencer there on the outside. He won't mind me calling him Gregory. He likes a little bit of official talk there, and he's got Raymond Yeager, his teammate, and they're going to push their way to the lead of this one as well. So don't be surprised we see Pinnacle Esports, Greg Spencer and Raymond Yeager up there in the podium positions. They love a good super speedway as well. They've had a lot of good results on super speedways, and it's no surprise to see them up in the top 2 at the moment. But you've got to be very careful. The drafting, giving yourself bump drafts, etc. It's very easy to turn the car in front of you. But let's go on board with Raymond Yeager if we can, and have a look what it's like bump drafting up at the front here for Daytona for the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar E-Series. We'll let you enjoy them flat out in the V8 Supercar here around Daytona for round number 3, and we'll be back with you in a couple of minutes. And that's Super Speedway in a V8 supercar, ladies and gentlemen. It's different, it's ovals, it's supercars, but how good is the racing as we go on 3 wide in the background, 14 into 80. This race is going really quick though, Ryan. We've had one safety car intervention already. We're nearly quarter of the way through. Currently, Greg Spencer, Raymond Yeager, Jai Schultz, Todd Maxfield and Gary Wellman rounding out your 5. But a couple other people to have a look out for. So your current championship defending champion, actually, Justin Witcher in the car number 1. He's sitting back there in the 12th position. Not the start to his season and his campaign that he would have wanted after going back-to-back the first two series of the Australasian Supercar E-Series. But he's sitting back there in the 12th position. Will Justin Witcher be able to get the job done tonight, do you think, Ryan, and try and get the number 1 back up to where we're used to seeing it here for the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar E-Series?
If I'm honest, it's only 15 laps out of 80, so it's anyone's game tonight. So it's definitely possible. So he's finally back in a normal life in the fully black car that he has been with round 1 and 2. So yeah, it's definitely possible. He's sitting behind Andy Barber at the moment, so he'll be sitting there saving as much fuel as he can. So I'm excited to see what he does here. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, 100%. And I can see a certain red car just lurking in the background there, and I'm not going to say any names. I'm not going to say anything because he's going to absolutely shoot me if I do. And then the man on the cameras goes, "Under the bus you go, Mr. Brett Campbell." But Brett Campbell, the most unluckiest man in the Australasian Supercar E-Series for the first 2 rounds. I tell you what, he has been driving absolutely sensational. Him and his team did contend the Bathurst 12-hour, put it off pole, came home inside the top 10. I think they came inside the top 10 and did a great job there. But Brett Campbell doing a good job. No doubt we'll see him up there somewhere at the end of this one. But let's move the cameras away from him so we don't put the commentator's curse on. Let's put the commentator's curse on Adam Malone, who comes off a really, really good result for round number 2. Ryan, he was in a fight there for the podium. He did get the podium, I believe, in round number 2 we actually end up having 2 Southern Stars cars in the podium for round number 2. So Adam Malone looking very strong. He comes off 12th position in the Bathurst 12-hour as well. So he's got a full head of steam running into tonight. He's had a couple of good results here. He's had a couple of good results across in the Dirt Series for Sky Point as well. Adam Malone looking for a nice solid result tonight.
Yeah, Adam's just sitting behind Tom at the moment, and it looks like Tom has actually done a big brain strategy and forgot to put on his boot, or it has been hit off during the crash that we had earlier today. So there'll be a lot of team strategies here, especially with the Southern Stars there. They're all sitting together with Darren, Tom, and then there's Dad who's sitting in the 13th position. So,
And as I say, who's dad? Because the viewers don't know who's dad.
Mr. Barbados.
Andy Barber. Andy Barber. So anyone tuning in here on the NZ Sports Network, if you do hear the word dad, because obviously he's going to say that, his dad is Andrew J. Barber, and he is sitting up in the 12th position at the moment in the number 5 Superstars Esports Racing entry. So, Ryan, if your dad has a bad night as the race does unfold nearly a quarter way through, you've literally just thrown him under the bus by mentioning him, mate. So there you go. I'm going to say that. But John Quass has jumped into the chat. Sorry, John. It was about 5 minutes ago. Thanks for tuning in on the Sim Esports Network. 9 minutes for repairs. That's unfortunate, mate. Super Speedway Racing. Aaron Dillon had that repairs as well. Hopefully he's back in the race as well, but a long way to go. Jump back in there. If you are tuning in here on the Sim Esports Network, make sure you comment on our stream. Keep us excited. We want to interact with you, our viewers. We want to bring you the best content here on the Sim Esports Network and enjoy your racing. But back to the motor race. Greg Spencer still happy to lead the way. Josh Schultz looking on the outside there. He's getting a little bit impatient now, and he's going, nah, I've had enough. I want to be able to make a move for the lead of this motor race. But that's allowing Justin Witcher. Justin Witcher, we just spoke about him a couple of laps ago. He was sitting in behind Andy Barber. He's now moved up into the 5th position. He's the 3rd car back on the inside line there. So Justin Witcher has gone, okay, my time to move to the front a little bit and jostle at the front. So he's wanting to make his way up, and the reason he's doing that is because he wants to work with the likes of Raymond Yeager and Greg Spencer, his teammates, to be able to put their car in a position as they go into the next pit stops in the next 20 or so laps. So Justin Witcher putting himself in a position there. Stevie Dubb, Stephen Williams in the 98 DPRsimrigs.com entry. No surprise to see him up in the 4th position at the moment as well. So we'll see how this plays out. Toddy Maxfield there as well in the 6th position. Good night for Todd Maxfield so far, Ryan. We haven't said a lot about Todd Maxfield, and usually when you don't say a lot about a driver, they're doing a good job, as I believe that's Howe on the outside there, a lap down. But Todd Maxfield just keeping out of trouble early in this one. He knows that there is a long way to go. As we say good evening to you, Sarah K. Yesberg. Thank you for tuning in. Unfortunate night for Cobes so far, but good evening to you, Sarah. Thank you for tuning in. But, mate, long way to go. 21 into 80. We've just ticked over the quarter mark, or the quarter way through. Long way to go. I would like to say throw you under the bus now, who's your pick, but I think it's a little bit too early. We've got lap cars involved in this as well, so we'll see how we go. But I'm still surprised to see Greg Spencer leading the way at the front and not allowing his teammate to get in front of him and try and mix it up and save some fuel. So this could be the teamwork where Raymond Yeager's a lot further up in the championship and Greg's sacrificing his race at the moment for Raymond, because as they're at the front, Greg is definitely sacrificing his race for the benefit of Raymond, because Greg is being the man who's using all the fuel on the inside line. So as we go, incident down the back straight. Not sure who that was. And we're under yellow. Pritchard might be... No, Stevie Williams is involved in that one. We'll go back to instant replay shortly. But people just getting caught up on the outside line. Super Speedway Racing, not favourable for a lot of drivers. 22 into 80. So...
Yep. And I'll... Sorry for
you
that.
go, Ryan. No, you go, Ryan. Talk over me, mate.
I'd like to just mention that, well, I wouldn't like to mention, I'm mentioning that Justin Witcher, unfortunately, was caught in that, so he's back down in the 15th position, unfortunately, as we have a look at the instant replay.
Yes, they make this weight out of turns, number 1 and 2, and everything was pretty gentlemanlike. That's the lap car there. Oh no, that's not going to look favourable at all. The blue and orange car was a lapped car of Howe, and that is not going to go down well with the drivers at all. Into the outside of Justin Witcher, and that is all she wrote. So Philip Howe there, I believe that was, in the blue and orange car. And we don't like to say much here on the broadcast, but I tell you what, I'm going to. That was absolutely not on a lap car. getting in there and taking out the leaders. But anyway, we move across to the racing, and as we go on and just exaggerate that in slow motion, that wasn't good. But Ryan, not what we wanted to see there, but unfortunate that is super speedway racing. No doubt the admins will have a chat with that after the race, but nothing to do with us at the moment. Greg Spencer and Jai Schultz now in 1 and 2. Greg Spencer is going to come into pit lane. You can see that now. He's got his headlights flashing. Jai Schultz is going to come in as well. He's going to try and jump Greg Spencer through pit lane. We will have a chat to Jai Schultz, I think, when he comes out of the pits, and we might talk about this lesser and better Schultz. Sarah, thanks for tuning in, saying she's got the big incident. Yep, that's super speedway racing. Johnny Quass, unlucky Aaron. Definitely, mate. Johnny, you should have stayed out in the car, mate, and had a run. But they're back into pit lane, 24 into 80. We weren't expecting the big ones that early, mate. We're only 24 into 80. We're not even halfway through, and we've had 2 big ones here already. And normally we see in super speedway racing, we don't get excited until the last 10 laps because drivers just sit back and try and plot their position. But at the moment, it doesn't look like these drivers are willing to sit back there and just wait. They're racing for every moment and every position early on in this one. Yeah,
these drivers are definitely trying to be patient, but sometimes losing their patience gets the better of them. But yeah, it's unfortunate. It was unfortunate that a lapped car did cause that caution, and Justin Witch will definitely not be happy about that. So these drivers, all the drivers have fueled up at the moment. They're full of fuel now, so they're good to go. And yeah, we'll definitely be seeing some more racing now.
100%, and we've brought up none other. We've thrown him under the bus, the lesser Schultz. Schultzy, mate, super speedway racing. You've kept your car out of the trouble at the moment in the 27 midline sim racing entry. Super speedway racing, supercar, probably something a little bit new to you in relation to super speedways. Nothing new to you in the NASCAR side of things. Done a lot of that, but the supercar super speedway, how you feeling, mate? Sitting up there in P number 2, you're the lesser Schultz for the next couple of days, so I feel better about myself. But at the moment, you're doing a great job up there in P number 2, mate, in the 27.
Yeah, no, it's gone pretty good. I'm managing to keep it clean, especially with that first wreck. I think I had PJ sideways on the track next to me and just managed to squeeze through. But yeah, definitely different. Trying to get this outside line happening, but it's not really going anywhere.
Yeah, you need a friend, mate, on the outside line, unfortunately. But how's fuel looking in these cars as the safety car lights are out, so we won't keep you too much longer? How's the fuel looking? How much are you getting out of a tank, especially when you don't have a draft and you're trying to run by yourself? How are you looking fuel strategy-wise?
Yeah, not too bad. It's going to be borderline again, I think, from here on the one stop to home. But yeah, we'll see how we go and see if we can save a bit and get it home.
No worries at all, mate. We'll let you jump back up with Sebi, and hopefully we're talking to you in the broadcast booth at the end of this one. Just remember, mate, super speedway racing, you got to be there on lap 80. So we wish you all the best here from the Intersim Esports Network, and we'll let you jump back up with Seb. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the number 27 of Jai Schultz, and we'll move him back up into the channel just shortly as I just see what channel he's in, and I've got that now as we are about to go green. So Ryan Jai there, mate, sitting up in the second place, the lesser Schultz, doing a good job. Super speedway racing here for the supercar, something a little bit different for him, but he's doing a great job. But I'll tell you what, he's going to have to keep one eye on the 23 and the 29 of Raymond Yeager and Greg Spencer, because these two, they're no mugs, they know how to drive, and super speedway, they know what to do. But look I can see who's ranging up in the background as well, and I'm not going to say a word because it's the commentator's curse, but we're going to go green again here, and we're going to take lap number 26 of 80, and it will be Raymond Yeager leading the way, and Gary Wellman's going to get the run on the inside line. He's not going to allow Jai Schultz or Greg Spencer get involved in this one as well. So through turns number 1 and 2 we go once again. What is the third restart? Can we have a bit of green flag running as we're 26 into 80 and see these guys play a little ballerinas, play a bit of tic-tac-toe, and play a little super speedway racing and see where they play out and get a bit of green flag running and green flag pit stops, right?
Yeah, these guys are definitely trying to use as less fuel as possible, and it's we did hear from Jai just then that it is borderline on the one-stop strategy, so he will be wanting to try and get to the back of the pack there to save as much fuel. They are using the bottom and the medium line at the moment, so we are going too wide for the restart here as we go on to the second lap after we've gone green. So not sure if you actually know, Aiden, but Jai actually did change teams as the same as Sebastian. So at the moment, Jai Schultz is running under Schultzy Racing, and Sebastian Vindel is running with Sebastian Vindel Racing. So they have departed from Midline Sim Racing, and he's definitely getting his 27 car up there.
A mic drop on the Industry Esports Network. I didn't know about that. So Jai Schultz now running as an independent under Schultzy Racing, and Sebastian Vindel running under SV Racing. I believe that explains what their liveries were on Saturday night. So there we go. There's a little bit of download there, Ryan, on the Industry Esports Network. So, mate, you brought a new download, mate. Straight up, third time commentating here for the Australasian Supercar E-Series, and boom, you're down in the pit lane. You're getting all the goss for all the viewers, mate. Great job, mate. You need a pay rise on that one.
Yeah, I definitely went for a walk down the pit lane before the race and chopped the mic in their faces and asked them what team they are. And so, yeah, Jai at the moment is just holding the bottom line there. With Sebastian Vindel's actually got himself up to the third position there. So I'm pretty sure that they'll be trying to work together. And yeah, there's a lot of strategy involved here with fuel. So everything, we'll see how everything will work out.
Well, there's one concern I've got about that change of team there, Ryan. It's like the biggest concern that I've got, right? So I'm a commentator, I'm biased, as you are. We sit here and we commentate what we look at week in, week out, and we enjoy all the racing. But we talk about Jai Schultz, who's now Schultzy Racing. I'm a little bit disappointed because my name's Schultzy as well, and I've got Schultzy Streaming, so I'm going to have to get him for copyright for that. But anyway, Schultzy there in the first position. My biggest concern is how's he going to sell any merchandise being the lesser Schultz? Who's going to want to buy that?
Well, I guess we'll see on Monday. So, tomorrow actually. So we'll see if you can.
No, it's all about payday today, mate. We don't worry about Monday. It's about today. It's about all the viewers and all the people. Look at those hundreds of thousands of people looking up in the stands there at Daytona at the moment. They're not going to want to buy a lesser Schultz shirt. They're not going to want to do that. But in all seriousness, he's doing a great job there in the third position. I love having this little battle. How good is it on the iRacing platform to not only be able to bring you all the action here on the Industry Esports Network here for the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar E-Series, but to have such fun with some drivers and our own inter-battles, and to be able to give them a little bit of crap as they race as well, because I tell you what, I'd much rather be in the broadcast booth here for Daytona than be in the driver's seat at the moment, because I tell you what, it's a lot easier up here talking as we're 31 into 80 than being in behind the wheel. So we keep going. I can see a driver just in the background, and Mr. Gretton has just known exactly what I was going to talk about, and he's lurking up there in the background, and it's the super speedway specialist, none other than the 02 of Darren McKenzie. He's bided his time. He was up the front early. He made his way at the back. He's got Evan Wardsville there in behind him, but Darren McKenzie in the 02 Southern Stars Esports entry just sitting there in the 7th position. But have a look who's in 9th, 10th and 11th there, Ryan. So I'll let you talk through that one as you're very close to those drivers, as I am as well. And there's an under the bus moment if we haven't seen one as well. Lightning McQueen, Brett Campbell in the 13th position. He hasn't been a part of any incident tonight. He's doing a great job. He's up into the 13th position and just sitting in behind his teammate of Ruben Phelps. They're not showing delivery. They're not teammates in this season, but in this series, but they are teammates. He's in the 13th position. So Brett Campbell doing a great job, Ryan. Yeah,
Brett's definitely being patient for this race. His patience is what will get you the W. So he has won at Daytona before, and I'm touching wood. I'm not sticking any commentator's curse on Brett right now, but we'll see what happens with him. And all these drivers have been extremely patient after the last incident, so we'll see what happens. The draft is a big strategy here as they're holding the bottom line at the moment.
Yeah, 100%. I think all these drivers are going, this is payday. I've seen the two big instances. We're on board with Andy Barber at the moment with in the number 5 Southern Stars Esports Racing entry, just following Adam Malone there. So that's 9th and 10th on the racetrack at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. But I think all these drivers have gone, we've had the two big incidents. It's time to settle down. We've already got approximately, well, we had 32 start the race and we've only got 17 on the lead lap. So there's already 15 cars that they are in front of. So they're thinking now, okay, it's time to settle down and try and get in the groove and try and get some good points, because some of the big players here for the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar E-Series are out of this one, and there's going to be a big shake-up in the points when we go into round number 4 next week.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure what track next round is, but we know that's going to be exciting, and these drivers are going to have a big crack at it. So Greg Spencer's in the lead. He's in the lead at the moment over Raymond Jaeger, so they definitely won't want to be there at the moment with the fuel strategy. So we'll see what they do now.
Yeah, it's the same old, same old. I think I know exactly what's happening here. And guys, if Raymond or Greg are tuning in on the broadcast, because no doubt they do have it in the background, I think I can tell you exactly what's happening here. Ryan, is Greg's playing shotgun for Raymond at the moment, as Raymond is there in the championship in the 3rd position. Greg, unfortunate first couple of rounds, so he's playing shotgun. He's going to use all his fuel and try and push or try and drag Raymond to a position to be able to win this motor race. So that's exactly what is unfolding on your screens right now, ladies and gentlemen. This is Teamwork 101. I tell you what, who's in the box seat at the moment? Sebastian Varndell and Jai Schultz there in the 3rd and 4th. Gary Wellman Gaza in the 5th position. He's in a good position as well. And Todd Maxfield, if you don't mind, in 6th, and then Darren McKenzie 7th. So a long way to go. Raymond doesn't really have anything to do, as we've got a little bit of light flashing there down the main straight. Who doesn't want a bit of a flash on a Sunday night, mate?
Yeah, I agree with you saying that.
3 under the bus there.
Yeah, definitely. If Derek Jacobs was in here, he wouldn't mind a flash on a Sunday night. So, we're looking at Sebastian Varndell at the moment. They're going down the back straight. He's just sitting behind, who was that there? Jai Schultz. So Sebastian's 27 positions up from the starting. So for his first oval, he's going to be very happy with this.
Yeah, 100%, and especially it being a super speedway. Like, we all think it's just turning left and flat out, and it's definitely not that. It takes a lot of concentration, as we're only 36, about to go 37 into 80. A lot of concentration, as we saw earlier in the race. There was a lot of side-by-side, a lot of 2-3 wide action, and to be able to do that across a period of an hour and a half, as you see Raymond Jaeger getting right up in behind his teammate Greg Spencer, all it takes is one little mistake. So you saw it right then on your screen. If Raymond didn't get out of the gas there and just hit Greg on the left-hand rear quarter panel, Greg would have been on the inside wall. So it takes a lot of concentration by these drivers. So we'll see how it plays out with 37 into 80, a lot to go. Let's take this opportunity to go on board. Let's go on board with someone we haven't been on board with here for the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar E-Series. We're looking at the front battle at the moment, but let's go on board with the number 18 of Jamie Nankervis sitting back in the 14th position. And we'll come back to you with all the sponsors and everyone involved here for the Australasian Supercar E-Series just in a couple of moments. And there we go, Ryan. A couple of laps on board with the 18 of Jamie Nankervis around Daytona International Speedway. Jamie currently sitting in the 14th position, just chasing down, we'll call him Lightning McQueen. He's been doing the Lightning McQueen livery at the moment. He is in the 13th position, and that being none other than Brett Campbell. So, Ryan, we've now just clicked over halfway here for round number 3 of the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar E-Series. And Greg Spencer, Raymond Yeager, Jai Schultz, Sebastian Bindel and Gary Wellman, your 5 as we're halfway through this one.
Yeah, with the onboards we just went through, I did notice that no one has gone double wide for a lap or two, so these drivers will definitely be trying to save their fuel and stay on the bottom line to ultimately do as many laps on the tank as they can. So we haven't really noticed separate packs except the first two of Greg Spencer and Raymond Yeager, who have put a bit of a gap over Jai Schultz and Sebastian. So they are definitely playing the team strategy at the moment. So we'll see what happens from me.
100% we will, mate. But let's take this opportunity, as we've just ticked over 41 laps into 80, to do a big shout out to all the sponsors here involved with the Australasian Supercar E-Series. So, of course, the naming rights sponsor, My Private Seller, it is the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar E-Series. We'll go into a little bit more detail later on what they offer and what they do. But My Private Seller, as you can see in the top right-hand corner of your series, have come on board as the major sponsor here for season number 3 of the Australasian Supercar E-Series. Of course, from Ray White, Rural Gander, back on board for season number 3 as a sponsor as well. Up in the Hervey Bay region of Queensland, they are everything to do with your real estate, whether you are in the market for a rental, whether you're in the market to buy, whether you're in the market to invest, whether you're in the market for anything to do with real estate. Ray White Rural Gander is your place to go up through the Hervey Bay region of Queensland. Of course, also Justin Witcher Electrics, your reigning 2-time champion here of the Australasian Supercar E-Series, electrician down there in Victoria, Melbourne, Victoria. He works in the domestic, the commercial sector of that field, rather, if I just get my tongue tied. I don't even know what I'm talking about. But if you're after a Sparky down in Melbourne, get on to Witcher Electrics. You can find them across your socials through Facebook. Of course, you can look the World Wide Web up, Google Witcher Electrics, and it's electrics with an X. And be sure to jump on and support the people that support the iRacing community. As I said, Witcher Electrics, they do domestic, they do commercial. I've also seen through Facebook they've been looking to hire and doing some stuff, so they're expanding as well through Witcher Electrics as well. We will be bringing you a lot more to do with the naming rights sponsor as well, being My Private Seller in the coming minutes. But we want to leave that because I tell you what they do, Ryan, is something that's really different that I haven't really seen. So to be able to, I'm excited to be able to bring that, and I want to be able to show the viewers that, My Private Seller is something you definitely need to get a part of, because I want it in my lounge room. I want it in my gaming room. I want it everywhere. My Private Seller is your place to go.
Yeah, Aiden, I know that you would want a My Private Seller in every room of the house. They're an awesome company, and they can customize any cellar that you could ever dream of. So if I was legally allowed to drink, I'd definitely want them to build me a cellar. So yeah, they're definitely an awesome company, and a lot of people would want to jump on board with them. So
and I can actually, now's the time, now you segue it. Let's go straight in and let everyone know what My Private Seller is about. So we see Greg Spencer and Raymond Yeager leading the way at the moment. So for anyone interested with My Private Seller, they are a Brisbane-based wine cellar dealer. So a little bit of an overview on them, and if you're interested, I know there's a lot of people tuning in on the InterSim Esports Network. Sarah K. Yesberg, yes, I'm talking about you. Get on to Kobe. He'll probably have to buy you one of these, because this is down your alley. I know that Andy and your mum, Ryan, she might have to get one of these as well. But My Private Seller, right? So what they are is they use their extensive knowledge and network to design and create the ideal wine cellar that meets your every specific need. So if you heard that right, ladies and gentlemen, your own private wine cellar. Really? Do you need anything more in life? Your own private wine cellar. Whether it is to store, display, a feature, or a wine room, they can deliver your dreams. Their team will help you through all the stages and project manage you through the process. They've got consultation. They will sit with you and discuss what you're looking for and give you the plan that will work for you. They'll design it. So the next step is they will design it where they take the consultation to the next level and design that dream cellar for you. They'll supply it. So following that, they'll supply it. Do you need installation? Do you need environmental control? Do you need racking? They'll do all that for you as well. I tell you what, if you're needing racking in your own private wine cellar, you've got a better house than I do. But that's what they'll do. But then if you thought that was enough, no, they will install it as well. So they will come to you and they'll install all the products for you. They'll also take the plans, design, bring it to life. They'll construct it. They'll do the customized racking. They'll do everything. So My Private Cellar is your place to go. If you want anything in regards to that, if you want your wine room, if you want your little corner in your lounge room, if you want the big gaming den with your 64 bottles of wine, and we promote drinking wisely here on the Indosim Esports Network. Of course we do, but My Private Cellar, your place to go. I tell you what, Ryan, My Private Cellar, how did I not know about these guys 15 years ago?
I'm not sure, but I bet you're glad now. But yeah, if I was definitely 18, that would be the first place I would go to get my own cellar. So don't forget the name, and definitely check those guys out.
Yeah, definitely. And if you do want to check out My Private Cellar, you can find them at myprivatecellar.com.au. myprivatecellar.com.au on your World Wide Web. I'll just put that in the chat at the moment. So you can go on and have a look at all that. But we're still green. And DMAC, Darren McKenzie from Southern Stars Esports Racing, has made his way up into the lead of this one, Ryan.
Yeah, right, I just had to be a bit quiet for a second. Yeah, these drivers are really quick at the moment. Darren McKenzie definitely sitting up there in the second position now. He's just dropped a little bit behind Evan Horswell. Sorry if I butchered that, but yeah, he's definitely got a bit impatient. He's like, no, I want to grab one of those precious bonus points actually. So he's definitely making moves at the moment, sitting on the bottom line there, right next to Evan. So we'll see how his strategy is going at the moment. So yeah, he's definitely trying to get up there and get a good position.
Yeah, 100%. And I've got Emma tuning into the chat. Emmy, good evening to you. She reckons she's waiting for her private cellar as well. So a lot of the ladies wanting their own private wine cellar. I know that Sarah's tuned in and said Kobe Jordan doesn't drink, but she certainly does. So Kobe, sorry mate, you're out of the race early and you're now out of pocket because you're buying Sarah K. Yesberg a wine cellar from My Private Cellar. And it looks like I'm out of pocket too now, as M wants a private wine cellar. So Darren McKenzie now making his way into pit lane for what will be the final pit stop now. So they last come through pit lane on lap 23. But I tell you what, all the ladies wanting to get their own private wine cellars here, Ryan. I'm not afraid to admit I do like a good wine, and I think I want my own wine cellar.
Well, if Emma and you really want wine cellar, why not get two? Why not? But yeah, just when you mentioned just before that Darren McKenzie has entered the pit lane, it's actually the whole of Southern Stars at the moment, so it could be a strategy play for them. So we'll see how it's going. Jai Schultz at the moment sitting in fourth position. We're on board, well not on board, we have our cameras focused on him at the moment. So these drivers, it looks like the pack here are getting a little bit move aroundy. So
is that the technical term, Ryan? Move aroundy. Is that the new one that we bring here on the Indosim Esports Network? It's For ladies and gentlemen, if you're here tuning in on the InterSim Esports Network, and I like paying out on Ryan because he's new to the commentary and he really enjoys it, and to be honest, you do a great job, mate. But we've just created a new word here, and it's move-aroundy. So you're doing a bit of a move-aroundy here at Daytona, mate. So hopefully next time you're in the car, you don't do a move-aroundy and you keep it on the track, mate.
Yeah, I wouldn't. It just depends what you meant with move aroundy. It could be move aroundy. I know I'm in the wall, or it's move aroundy as you're getting yourself at the front. So I guess
that was actually a really good save there, Ryan. That is a really good job. We threw you under the bus, and you just went, "I'll raise you, and I'll just go all in." So well done there, mate. That was really well done. But as we had a move aroundy now for the lead of the motor races, Raymond Yeager's taken that lead over Greg Spencer. So they've now taken you move aroundy and raised you move aroundy and going hard at the front.
Yeah, looks like Raymond Yeager did a move aroundy on Greg Spencer. Raymond Yeager did a move aroundy on Greg Spencer.
I could go anywhere with this, and I'm going to leave it right there as we concentrate on the lead of the motor race. Anyway, we need to keep some professionalism here. But Raymond Yeager leading the way over Greg Spencer, Evan Horswell, Gary Wellman, Todd Maxfield, Joe Schultz, Sebastian Bertel, Ruben Phelps, Brett Campbell, and Jamie Nankervis, your 10. So if you are tuning in here on the InterSim Esports Network across our platforms of Facebook and YouTube, be sure to put your comments in the chat. Be sure to talk to us and let us know that you are watching. And the Southern Stars guys, as you did say, Darren McKenzie, Andy Barber, Tom Pritchard, they did come into pit lane as we're on board with Brett Campbell. There's the Southern Stars guys here. So they've already been through pit lane on lap 50. So I tell you what, these three drivers at the moment are in a prime position. They can make it to the end by the looks of it. So I tell you what, these guys are in a prime position at the moment, but we'll see what happens as Josh looks like Raymond Yeager and Greg Spencer's just come into pit lane as well. So it'll be interesting. So as you see Greg and Raymond come into pit lane, you saw the Southern Stars guys just make their way down the main straight. They're going to have to do a whole nother lap to be able to get themselves back on the lead lap. But where will this put Greg Spencer and Raymond Yeager when it all comes out? But there's a lot of other drivers to still come into pit lane. We've got Gary Wellman, Evan Horswell, Todd Maxfield, Josh Schultz, Varndell, Phelps, Campbell, Nankervis, Koch. Everyone's still to come into pit lane, as it looks like Tommy Pritchard there wants to just run up in the second position, and Andy Barber's just going to drop down in behind there. You've got Pete Matson in behind. He's still just doing some laps. A good job by Pete. He's doing some laps and just trying to get some points. So we will see. We've got community standards coming up on the chat at the moment, so I don't know if we said anything wrong there with the My Private Seller, but we'll see what happens there. But Raymond Yeager makes his way out of pit lane. We'll see where Darren McKenzie and Tom Pritchard and Andy Barber do fall out in this one, and they're going to leave in for dead down the back straight. So you can see now too that Greg Spencer has lost the back of his teammate of Raymond Yeager. So Raymond's going to probably catch this train at the front and to be able to race for the end. Mind you, don't write off Joe Schultz, Gary Wellman, Varndell, Horswell, everyone that still needs to come into pit lane. But now Raymond Yeager, he is all on his own. That's not the place that you want to be on a super speedway.
Yeah, and it looks like as we can see, there's a whole new train here with getting led by Darren McKenzie, Tom Pritchard, Andy Barber, Raymond Yeager. I also, unfortunately, have noticed that when the Southern Stars boys did pit in the pit lane, Adam Malone must have had an incident. I'm not sure if he did, but he is sitting a few laps down at the moment. So, wonder what happened to him, but these 5 drivers here at the moment will be all working together for the most part to try and get themselves up to the lead pack.
100% they will, but let's focus back on the lead of the motor race, and that is the 45 for Gary Wellman. As here's a bit of flurry into pit lane, so they're all in. Wellman, Maxfield, Horswell, Nankervis, Campbell, Phelps, Koch, Schultz, Varndell. What a time that was to go on board, and they are into pit lane. So where's this going to put these drivers? Brett Campbell's just driven into the side of someone down pit lane. That is... Yeah, let's move on from that. But they are all in pit lane. So where's this going to put these drivers as they make their way out? You can see that's the lead pack as it will be when they make their way across the stretch for the next time. They're still stationary in pit lane. It's Wellman, Phelps, Maxfield. Campbell won't be a part of it. He has turned around backwards. Nankervis, Horswell, Koch. So how far will these drivers... How much was the undercut? We're about to see they would have been stationary less. They'll be stationary less with the drivers in front. So they're already out because they would have to take less fuel. So the drivers are out in front, but these guys are in the freight train, in the draft and ready to go. Have a look at this, ladies and gentlemen. It's spicing up 58 into 80. Darren McKenzie leads this chasing train as they make their way onto the backstretch for the 58th time tonight. And the drivers in front there. So we'll see what happens here. And this is going to be the change for the lead of the motor race. And Darren McKenzie will get that job done. So you can see Todd Maxfield and Ruben Phelps there who came out of pit lane. But if the Southern Stars guys have enough fuel to get to the end, if Darren does by leading the race, that's in a good spot at the moment. But look at this. This is heating up. There's 7 cars a part of this. There'll soon be 8. And it's going to go down for a 22-lap sprint here for the Daytona race of the Australasian Supercar E-Series. It's going to be one of these drivers, but is there going to be a big incident at the end? Jai Schultz and Sebastian Vandel and Greg Spencer, these drivers are the drivers that did lose out through that pit stop period, as they're about 4 seconds down on the leading group at the moment. So they've got a little bit of boogity to try and get up to the top 8 at the moment, but it is Darren McKenzie, Todd Maxfield, Pritchard, Jaeger, Barber, Phelps, Wellman, your top 7 at the moment, but they're already going too wide, 59 into 60. So Todd Maxfield and Raymond Jaeger wanted to make that outside line work. So we'll be interested to see who wants to team up with who. Interesting to see Simboys wanting to team up with Pinnacle Esports, to be honest. But and you see that exactly there. What good timing is that? Raymond Jaeger, see you later. I'm hanging you out to dry on the outside there by Todd Maxfield. So that's super speedway racing right there, Ryan.
Yeah, and Darren McKenzie won't mind having Todd Maxfield ahead of him. So there's still 20 laps left remaining, so that's around 15 minutes, I would say. So these guys are definitely, this is when the strategy is really going to play out in the last 20 laps. So these guys will be using all the drive they can, and they'll be trying to get to the end without a stop now.
Well, I think what Darren McKenzie's doing there in the 3rd position, and likewise Raymond Jaeger in front of him as we're on board with, or not Raymond Jaeger at the moment as he's on the outside, but I think what Darren McKenzie's doing at the moment is he was running at the front of that battle pack with his teammates while they pitted a little bit earlier and trying to do that little bit of an undercut. And he used a bit more fuel. So right now is his fuel conservation mode. He's going to sit in behind Raymond Jaeger as Todd Maxfield takes the lead. So he's going to sit in behind there and try and save a bit more fuel to see whether he's got something to be able to push his Southern Stars Esports Racing teammates to podium position late in this one. So this is the calm before the storm, Ryan. We've probably got another 10 or 15 laps of just calm, you would suggest. You'll have a couple of drivers. You see on the outside there, Pete Matson. He is he's actually on the lead lap now, or a lap down. But Pete Matson on the outside as we see him there. But a little bit of a calm before the storm, 62 into 80. So 18 laps to go. Super Speedway Racing still at this moment in the motor race. 7 cars in this battle in contention to be able to make their way up to challenge for a win. We'll keep a gap, or keep an eye on the gap between Gary Wellman and Greg Spencer in the 7th and 8th position. That's slowly getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So at the moment, it's the 7 cars here who's going to battle this one out. Will it be Phelpsy from New Zealand as well in the 06 as we're on board with Gary Wellman? Ruben Phelps is just in front of him. Will the 06 out of New Zealand or Ruben Phelps? The man who we haven't spoken about a lot tonight, he started out at P number 8. He's kept out of trouble. He's up into P number 6 after coming off a nice solid run in the Bathurst 12 hour yesterday. Is he going to have anything for the drivers here tonight? And I tell you what, He's not going to leave anything on the table. If I know anything about Ruben Phelps, he's going to have a good dip, and he's going to have a dip really, really, really hard. But we'll see. With 63 into 80, a long way to go as Todd Maxfield, Raymond Yeager, and Darren McKenzie leads the field.
Yeah, they've chosen to go too wide at the moment, so there's 17 laps remaining, or 17 laps until the white flag, I must say. So anything is possible here. There could still be a late race caution, so I'm not throwing anyone under the bus. So we'll see what happens. But if there is a caution later on, then that will bring the likes of Brett Campbell, Kate Donnelly, Tristan Koch, Sebastian, and Jai up to the lead pack there. So we'll see how this all works out, and we'll see how everyone's strategy will go. It's still not in concrete that they can still make it to the end with the fuel, so yeah, we'll see what happens for me.
100%. We've got Simon Ferris tuning in on the chat. Good evening to you, Simon. Awesome event. Yes, it is. It's great. Hope you're enjoying all the action here on the InterSim Esports Network. Steve Hoppett, thought you would have been in there tonight, mate. You've raced a couple of times. We had it all ready for you. Looks like a nice, clean race. There were a couple of biggies early in the first 20 laps, but it's been pretty clean since then. Paul Jackson on the radio there. Don't know what he's saying, but Davey Douglas, Double D, he's, I'll put my money on Tommy Pritchard. Pretty safe bet there, I'd say. Southern Stars Esports Racing. So, Dave Douglas, thanks for tuning in on the chat. Of course, DD's Casting Couch. Get across there and have a look at all his streaming. DD's Casting Couch on Facebook. Go and watch him do his stuff. A great driver and a better bloke. So, Dave Douglas, thanks for tuning in on the broadcast. 65 into 80, Ryan, 15 to go. Super Speedway Racing. The race is just about to start. It's been the calm before the storm. And this is just the start of Super Speedway Racing because I'm going into some Super Speedway Racing in Anscar this week for Speedway. And we go Super Speedway Racing. But we got 15 to go. Todd Maxfield leading the way at the moment over Raymond Yeager, Darren McKenzie, Tom Pritchard, and Andy Barber in the chain. It definitely is not going to finish that way, mate.
Yeah, as me and you both know, Aiden, on Speedway races, the last lap is not as clean as we see now, so anything's possible in the last lap. There could be a crash, there could be anything, so it's not too late to have a caution now, so they do look like they are spreading out about a car length from each other, so yeah, Brett Campbell, Tristan, Kay Donnelly, Sebastian, likes of them would be trying their best to get to the lead pack, as it does look like they have.
Yeah, all right. I need to cut you off here, Ryan. Have a look at this. If we just move the cameras back to around about the 10th, 11th position, there's drivers running out of fuel here. There's people backing off because Jai Schultz is now, look at this. They were 4 seconds off the back of this battle pack. And there are drivers backing off big time. So let's jump on board with a driver and have a listen. Let's jump on board with Darren McKenzie, actually, if we can, because he's the driver that was through pit lane on lap 50. That's the Southern Stars Esports Racing. They've had the strategy to come through on lap 50. Greg Spencer leading the way at the moment up the road. Lap 54, he was through pit lane. Jai Schultz lap 56. Todd Maxfield lap 57. Everyone in front of Darren at the moment are about 5 or 6 laps better in fuel. So this is really, really interesting. 68 into 80. It is fuel save mode 101 for Darren McKenzie and Southern Stars Esports. So I think Southern Stars might have blinked a little bit too early there and got their fuel number wrong, Ryan. But they're going to be in the draft now. But are they going to have anything to be able to fight for the end? As Greg Spencer, after missing that pit stop and absolutely getting left in the background from his teammate, he's made his way back up and taken the lead of this motor race over Todd Maxfield. And Jai Schultz, he was 4.5 seconds off to this battle. Only just 5 or 6 laps ago, and now he's made his way up into the 3rd position. So no sooner were we talking about DD's Casting Couch and the people tuning in on the chat. It's all changed right in front of us here on the InterSim Esports Network for round number 3 of the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar E-Series.
Yeah, the big question is, will Southern Stars be able to get to the end of this race? It's definitely questionable right now. We're on board with Darren McKenzie, who's ahead of Andy Barber and Tom Pritchard. So it's definitely going to be a big strategy call here. Kay Donnelly's already in the pit lane, so I'm not sure what will happen here. These boys would have been trying to work their strategy perfectly, and if they've missed the ball here, then that's going to impact them a lot. So will they get to the end? Will they need to stop again? We'll find out in the next 10 laps.
Well, from what I can see where they're sitting back in the background at the moment, they've probably just miscalculated a little bit as they're sitting off the back. They're just trying to get to the end and see where they fall out in this one. The guys in front, they are about 6 laps better with fuel, and that man at the moment, it's Lasse Schultz, Jai Schultz leading the way over Sebastian Varndell as they make their way down the back straight for the 70th time tonight of asking. And on the outside, Raymond Yeager says, I'm going to the front, ladies and gentlemen, and Greg Spencer wants to make it 3 wide on the middle and go, it's going to be Pinnacle Esports at the front. So Greg Spencer and Raymond Yeager wanting to make their way to the front as well. And now it's about race time, ladies and gentlemen. We've been waiting for it, 70 laps. And now, if you're tuning in, now's the time to strap yourself in, go get yourself your favourite beverage and sit down on your couch and get ready for 10 laps of the most amazing super speedway racing you've seen here for the Australasian Supercar E-Series, because it's about to get interesting. These drivers are going to go 3 and 4 wide very, very shortly, Ryan. So I'm already getting excited. 71 to 80, you need to calm me down.
Yeah, this is the part of the race where we're not even sitting down, we're standing up, and we're trying to figure out what's going to happen here. At the moment it's Greg Spencer, Raymond Yeager and Ruben Phelps. So you did mention that Ruben is up there, so he has been pretty quiet and he has been out of trouble at the moment. If it is possible, are we able to jump on board with someone up in the front pack there?
Let's do that. Let's jump on board with the 06 of Ruben Phelps on the outside line there. Let's just do that for a lap or two here on the Intersim Esports Network, and then we'll bring you the final 6 or 7 laps here for round number 3 of the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar E-Series. So Ruben Phelps out of Dunedin in New Zealand. It's all hours of the night there in New Zealand, and he's fighting hard as there's nearly contact down the back straight, but we'll enjoy, or let you sit down and enjoy supercar racing here at Daytona International Speedway for a lap, and we'll bring you all the action for the final couple of laps here on the Intersim Esports Network very shortly. How good are those cameras, ladies and gentlemen? On board with the 06 out of Dunedin, New Zealand, Ruben Phelps. Those cameras brought to you by none other than Mr. Peter Gretton. He runs LR Esports, but he's nice enough to do the cameras here on the Intersim Esports Network, allowing Paul Jackson to have a drive. I tell you what, Paul Jackson will want to be in the broadcast booth tonight, not the way that he wanted his night to end. It's 41 laps down, but how good are those cameras, Ryan? We're 74 into 80. Ruben still holding tight on the outside line. He's got Gary Wellman trying to push him around the outside at the moment. So it is a race of anyone's with only 6 laps to go. Who's going to get the W in this one? Strap yourself in. It still is Greg Spencer, Raymond Yeager leading the way on the inside line. They're going to be hard to beat on the inside line, Ryan. They're doing a great job. Greg Spencer running shotgun for Raymond Yeager. That outside line is trying really hard to get that to work, as there's 5 cars now in line on the outside line. If they can get that to work, they will go and make Greg Spencer and Ruben Phelps has just jumped up on my timing. So Greg Spencer and Raymond Yeager stand still. But Pete Matson now is going 3 wide down the back straight. Pete Matson a lap down. He's going 3 wide down the back straight, so he's trying to get his lap back. With only 6 laps to go. So this can either end one of 2 ways. It can end nicely or it can end in tears, as with still Greg Spencer and Raymond Yeager leading the way out of turns number 3 and 4, and they'll make a way across the strike, and they'll take lap number 76 of 80 here for round number 3 of the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar E-Series. But I'm getting excited already. Ryan, you know how much I love racing on ovals. You know how much I love super speedways and calling them, not so much driving them, but I'm getting excited. 76 into 80. Who's going to get this one? Don't ride off the Southern Stars, guys. They're still in the background there as well. They've saved a bit of fuel. Are they going to be able to make it to the end? They're not in the best position at the moment to be able to capitalise of it. But look at these drivers now. They're jockeying for position. We've got a third row trying to make their way around the outside, and that is Jai Schultz and Sebastian Vandel, as they try and make the third line work up the top here at Daytona International Speedway, as we go 3 wide down the main straight at Daytona International Speedway, and we'll get lap 77 of 80, Ryan.
Yeah, just like last round, I'm absolutely holding my breath here as 2 wide down the straight, trying to get 3 wide here. So there's definitely a time where Aiden and I are holding our breaths and jumping around. So yeah, wow, 3 laps to go and they're already banging doors. And when we did go on board with Ruben Phelps, I was also holding my breaths, especially with Peter Gredden's awesome camera work, definitely making, definitely showing us how close these guys are to each other. So banging doors at 300 kilometers an hour isn't easy, as they are actually going 3 wide and there's a bit of bump.
Oh, it looks like Sebi Vandel might have been up into the outside wall there. I'm not sure whether that was Sebi, but yeah, 3 wide, and these guys are going to want to fight hard. You can see Andy Barber on the inside line there, just trying to make himself. They're jockeying for position now. It's a little bit like a horse race. They're jockeying themselves for position to try and get in the right position to make a move. 3 laps to go, ladies and gentlemen. It still is Greg Spencer leading the way on the inside line with his teammate Raymond Yeager as they make their way down the back stretch. That outside line of Ruben Phelps being led by Ruben Phelps as we go 3 wide into 3 and 4. And Ruben Phelps is in the fence, and there it is. We're going green-white checker here for round number 3 of the Australasian Supercar E-Series, as Ruben Phelps has an incident there down the back stretch, and we are yellow for the 4th time tonight.
Oh, I saw that coming. Wow. Oh my God, I can't even speak. Oh, green-white checker. These guys are going to be going hard, so definitely at the end here, it's going to be able to get this replay.
Yeah, so a car on the outside wall there down the back straight. You got Ruben Phelps on the inside and the middle line there. Not sure what happens. We can't quite see that. Oh, he might have just got a little bit of contact from the got into Raymond on the inside. Was that Ruben Phelps? Yes, it was. And that's Jamie Nankervis caught up in that as well in the Sim Shed car. So the big one for the 3rd time tonight. Lucky for not all the other drivers to get involved in that one as well. So we're caution. We're going green-white checker. What a better way to finish round number 3 of the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar E-Series. Green-white checker. We're going racing, boys. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Who's it going to be, Ryan?
Oh, I'm not going to put any names here, because if I put the commentator's curse on the wrong person, I'm going to be regretting it tonight. So all the fuel strategy is going out the window now. If they aren't going to make it to the end, they'll just pop through pit lane. So it's going to be crazy.
It definitely is. I was going to bring Raymond up into the broadcast booth, but it won't allow me to put him back down into Pinnacle. So I can't have a chat with him at the moment. The way that their Discord server works, I can't do anything with Pinnacle. So we'd love to be able to talk to Raymond and Greg at the moment, but we can't do that. So we'll bring someone else into the broadcast booth and have a chat with them. We won't have a chat to Southern Stars, because I know that they didn't want to have a chat with us at the moment. Let's bring up Jai again and have a chat with him and throw him under the bus and see how he's going. And we'll bring him up into the broadcast booth. So we've got Jai Schultz up into the broadcast booth, mate. Green-white checker, here we go. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Mate, doing a great job there up in the third position. Tell you what, she was getting a bit dicey there at the front. Everyone trying to jostle for position there to try and get the win at the end. But we've gone green-white checker, mate.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we actually have though, because I've just got a white flag. So I think that's it for the race.
Oh, really? So we're finishing under yellow by the looks of it.
It would seem like it. So there goes the opportunity for a win. But just couldn't get the runs working. So.
Well, that's really odd that there's not a green-white checker, so that's interesting. But, mate, good race anyway. We might jump you back up into your channel so we finish the broadcast, but looks like it's going to be a Pinnacle Esports 1 and 2 if that is the case, as you've got the white flag. So we'll jump you back up into your race channel and we'll talk to you at the end of the broadcast, mate. But I thought that was going to be a green-white checker, but we'll let you go back up with Stevie and we'll talk to you shortly.
Yeah, that's busy.
Yeah, that's a bit disappointing that it's going to go, it's going to finish under the caution. So, yeah, disappointing.
Yeah, very disappointing that it's going to finish under caution. Not sure why there's no green-white checker, but they're going to go across the start-finish line now, and that looks like that is the checker flag, is it? Barney was waving that one, was he? I can't see the checker coming out now.
Yeah, that's the checkers.
The checkers has. So Greg Spencer's got the win, Raymond Yeager second, and Josh Schultz third. So that was a little bit of a... I don't even know what to say about anticlimax there, because usually there's a green-white checker, and I don't know what to say about that one, to be honest. A lot of drivers won't be happy about that one, but it is Pinnacle Esports 1 and 2. They deserve to get 1 and 2 tonight, but what racing there. And exactly the same sentiments here, Steve. Anti-climax, not the way that you want to see a race finish under caution, and never see that on Speedway. So not sure what's happened there, but we've got some fireworks happening. Your winner tonight was Greg Spencer, Raymond Yeager and Josh Schultz in third. I'm deflated, Ryan. I was getting really excited to call that one. Now I'm like back in my little box and I'm like, oh, we don't get to call it. But I tell you what racing it was, and unfortunate there for Ruben Phelps to get caught up in that incident after having such a great race.
Yeah, Ruben won't be happy after that turnaroundy. So
turnaroundy, he's pulled it out again. Yep. It's a turnaroundy. No, that's not what you're saying was earlier. It wasn't a turnaroundy. It was a thing around. It was a something roundy. It was turnaroundy. It was okay. So move aroundy. It's a something roundy.
Yeah.
It's a something roundy. At least it's not a reach roundy. But that's what I was going to say earlier, and I did not mean to say that. Anyway, Greg Spencer's going to light up the Pinnacle Esports 29 and do some donuts here as he takes round number 3 of the Australasian Supercar E-Series, brought to you here by Ray White Rural Gander. But Ryan, save me. Save me.
Yeah. Well, as we see, Greg's doing a bit of burnout aroundies.
There's a lot of roundies tonight.
Yeah. He has to be happy with that. Well, not happy that it finished on the caution. We've had that before with Brett Campbell, and he wasn't too pumped about that. But nevertheless, it's still a win, and Raymond Yeager is actually doing some burnouts too. So, the Pinnacle Esports dudes, they've had a good night tonight, and so has Josh Schultz. And I must say, the Southern Stars boys must be happy too. Tom Pritchard and Andy Barber there. So, what a night. It was exciting the entire time, and unfortunately it was a bit anticlimactic at the end here.
Yeah, it was anticlimactic and Andy, but it was Greg Spencer, Raymond Yeager and Josh Schultz, your top 3. But let's go through your finishing positions here for round number 3 of the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar E-Series. It was Greg Spencer who come away with the chocolates tonight, with Raymond Yeager, his Pinnacle Esports teammate there in second place. Jai Schultz from Schultz Autosport there in third place, with Todd Maxfield and Gary Relman rounding out your 5. Darren McKenzie, Tom Pritchard, Andy Barber, Tristan Koch and Sebastian Varndell will round out your 10. Brett Campbell coming home in 11th tonight, with Ruben Phelps coming home in 12th, Cade Donnelly, Peter Matson and Jamie Nankervis, your 15. In 16th place tonight was Nicholas Walsh, Evan Horswell was 17th and Adam Malone in the 18th position. We go back to the drivers laps and laps down after incidents tonight. Jared Daly in 19th, Ash Nessa 20th, Kobe Jordan, Sarah K. Yesberg joining in on the chat. Kobe, not the night he would have wanted tonight, Sarah, but good job there in 21st position. Paul Blocker-Jackson in 22nd, Stevie Dubb 23rd, Justin Witcher 24th, not going to help his championship standings for season number 3 there in 24th. Philip Howe 25th, Christopher Finlay 26th, Nigel Payton 27th, Aaron Dillon 28th, Simon Ferris in 29th, John Quass in 30th. Dylan Gray rounds out your 31 car field tonight. But what a night, Ryan. Like I said, it was absolutely sensational racing. We wish we would have been able to bring a green-white checker to you, but mate, those last 10, 15 laps for you, that final caution, it was definitely great racing.
Yeah, I struggled to stay in my seat. Yeah, it was a bit of a roller coaster with Jai, especially as he was moving up and down the field. So, yeah, we are looking at a replay. It does look, I'm not sure what replay it is. Yeah, it looks like the accident with Ruben Phelps. So, that was curtains for his night. He's definitely had a disappointing night tonight, but he still has to be happy with the progress he made tonight. So, yeah, he ended up having to spin a roundy and a fly roundy after getting hit or hitting someone. I'm not really sure what happened there, but
well, we can see it here. You can see Ruben Phelps on the mid line there. He's just on the outside of so Greg Spencer's just moved up just that little bit. Greg did nothing wrong there. That's just sent Ruben up into the outside car at 310 kilometres an hour around Daytona. It's quite simple to do, and as you said, that's curtains, or as you'd say all night tonight, curtainsy. We got to put an E on the end of it, and that was curtains for Ruben tonight. But we'll bring up the top 3 into the broadcast booth. We'll have a chat with them and see how their night went, mate. But 80 laps around Daytona International Speedway. It went really quickly, even though we had 3 safety car interventions. But we bring up the third place getter tonight, and it's none other than the lesser Schultz, Jai Schultz. Schultzy, mate, great race tonight in the 27 Schultzy Autosport entry, but not the way you would have wanted to see that race finish with no green-white checker, but it's a good, nice podium nonetheless.
Yeah, no, it was a good race, and it was a shame that it didn't end up green-white checker, but I think at the same time it probably saved me the risk of losing the third place as well. So it could have really gone both ways.
Yeah, could have. You were about 5 seconds off the lead pack after that final pit stop, and we were talking here in the broadcast, and it was about an 8 car battle at the front. They were just trying to get their way across, and then before we knew it, we had the Southern Stars Esports guys we saw. They might have been struggling on fuel, and they dropped right back to the pack, and before we knew it, in 3 or 4 laps, you in the 27 made your way from about 4 or 5 seconds behind the lead pack to actually battling for the lead of the motor race. So how'd that look from your perspective? Obviously, you were about 6 laps better on fuel than some of the guys in front with the way that your pit strategy went. But were you feeling comfortable there, thinking that you had something at the end if we did go green-white checker?
Yeah, yes and no. Sebi got a bit caught up in that last caution, so I lost me draft buddy. So I was a bit by myself up the front, and in the end, if we did go green-white checker. But yeah, with that last pit stop, I really had to come in on the lap I did, because I wouldn't have made it one more lap. I was trying, but couldn't quite get there. So I kind of gave Seb a bit late notice, but he did an amazing job getting to pit lane with me. And then, came out of pits together, and then we had good old Greg come up and help us, and we managed to run the top guys down and slowly make our way forward.
Well, you did a good job tonight, and that'll segue me across to jump you across to Ryan. Have a little bit of a chat to the lesser Schultz, mate. Jai Schultz. Sorry, mate. You're going to get that until at least Monday. I'm sorry, you need to. But have a bit of a chat to Jai, mate, before what was a sensational P3 tonight.
Yeah, mate. You've had a pretty good race tonight, getting third place. How long do you think you're going to be keeping the lesser Schultz nickname for? So,
Oh, well, at the moment, me being the lesser Schultz, they must think Aiden's bloody a god behind the wheel with me finishing third. But no, we've got the IndyCars next on Monday night for the Global iRacing Series. So we'll see how we go there and see if I can get that the better Schultz title back there.
yep, you got to be happy if not.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Like, especially after last week running P3 with 1 lap to go and then having a little bit of a bingle on the last lap, definitely makes up for that.
But in all seriousness, though, Jai, we talk about our little battle, and it's not about our little battle because it's just a bit of fun, mates on iRacing. But in all seriousness, all eyes forward to what is the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar E-Series. 3 rounds in, mate. First time across in the series. It is season number 3, first season for you. Your thoughts on the season so far? Your thoughts on the supercars around Oval and how you're enjoying it there in the 27?
No, I'm loving it. The amount of competition in this series is unreal. Like, to get a good result, like you really have to have a picture perfect race. So hats off to Raymond for running this league and putting it on and allowing me to have some fun on a Sunday night here. So hats off.
No worries at all, mate. Well, Jai Schultz, third place tonight in the 27. Schultze, I think it's Schultze Esports or Schultze Racing. I'm not sure at the moment. I just got thrown under the bus in the broadcast. But, mate, P3 tonight, big shout out to everyone involved for your third place tonight.
Yeah, so I'll just give a shout out to young Seb at the moment just for painting the cars up as quickly as he does. And that's pretty much it at the moment.
No worries at all, mate. Well, you go back down to Seb and have a chat with him and celebrate your P3 tonight. So your third place getter tonight for round number 3 of the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar E-Series. It was the 27 of Jai Schultz, up 23 spots on his starting position, if you don't mind, ladies and gentlemen. That moves us across to your second place getter. And the winner of round number 1, so he's fallen 1 short tonight, but he won't mind that because his teammate was just 1 in front of him. But he goes P number 2 tonight, and that's going to allow him to get some nice solid championship points here for season number 3 of the Australasian Supercar E-Series, and that's none other than the 23 Pinnacle Esports pilot, Raymond Yeager. Raymond, mate, P number 2 tonight. I know you would have wanted the green-white checker. Not sure what was set up there, but let's not focus on that. A P2 tonight. You've got to be happy with that.
Yeah, mate, stoked, honestly. It's even better with Greg getting his first win in the Australasian Supercar E-Series. Like to come second to that. We basically controlled the race from that first yellow flag. If it didn't get that late caution, we were gonna. I think we were going to win that pretty easily. We had plenty of fuel, and we seemed to be able to outpush Ruben and Jamie on the outside there. So yeah, I was stoked. We ran a really, really perfect race, honestly.
You did, and I was having a little bit of a look there through the race, and you know that I'm a little bit of a race connoisseur, and I like looking at the intricate details of a race. I could see when Greg was up there at the front early and you kept sitting in there behind you, if you go back and watch the broadcast, I was sort of thinking he was riding shotgun. So Greg, not with the most brilliant first 2 rounds by his own admission, which was no fault of his own. You coming off winning round number 1, coming into this round inside the top 4, I believe, in points. It looked like he was probably riding a little bit of shotgun for you early, and then as the race evolved, it sort of changed as a team strategy as opposed to him running shotgun to go on righto. We actually got a chance to be able to go 1-2 here.
Yeah, I mean, it was really a case of I was always going to come second or third in this race because Greg didn't feel comfortable with his wheel at the moment. He's got some issues with his wheel. Didn't feel comfortable pushing, so I was happy to push him to the win. But it's way too early to be thinking about championships and things like that. So Lots of things can go wrong between now and the end of the season. So, look, we're just trying to get the best results for the team each week, and obviously a 1-2 tonight. The other boys got caught up in incidents early on and didn't get a chance, unfortunately. But yeah, as I said, for Greg to get his first win tonight and me to be able to push him for most of it, I'm absolutely stoked.
As you should be. And Ryan, mate, I'll let you jump on and have a chat to Raymond, mate, for his PT tonight.
Yeah, throughout the race, I actually noticed that you were sitting behind Greg there. Was there any team strategy there to help you save fuel to get a good result tonight?
No, not at all. As I said just before, it was always the case that for our best chance of winning the race, Greg didn't feel comfortable in behind pushing because he's having issues with his wheel. So I was happy to push him to the win tonight because I knew we were quick. I knew we were going to be there or thereabouts. Obviously, the Southern Stars and the Sim boys and Ruben with Jamie there, I think Momentum Esports, they were all going to push us right to the end, obviously, and I'm spewing that I messed up the server settings and forgot to put on the green-white checker because it was going to be a belter of a finish. But look, we'll still take the 1-2, obviously, and as I said, I'm just stoked for Greg to get his first win.
Yeah, that certainly was an exciting race at the end, and the green-white checker would have been absolute mayhem. So Aiden and I were definitely looking forward to that. But it will be. Well, I personally think that it might be a bit scary if Greg does get comfortable with his wheel, because if he's not comfortable with his wheel and he comes out for a win, well, we'll need to see what happens when he is comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, he's just had this issue in the last couple of days. He's not sure what's going on, but hopefully we'll get it fixed up and he'll be good. Maybe we shouldn't fix it up because he wins when it's broken and he finishes last when it's good. So, I don't know, maybe we'll have to talk to him and not fix it.
That's a teammate throwing a teammate under the bus right there, isn't it? So there you go. Greg, don't fix your wheel, mate. Just keep it the way it is. But Raymond, mate, absolutely sensational result tonight for season number 3, round number 3 of the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar E-Series. Winner of round number 1. Not the best result, still a nice solid result for round number 2. Another podium here for round number 3. Big shout out to all those sponsors, everyone involved for your P2 tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a fair few. So obviously, 186 Speech and Language Development Australia, CarWorks, the Sim Racing Edge. They do fantastic work for us. Witcher Electrics is on board as well. And while I'm here, I may as well shout out our league sponsors who we can't run this thing without. So My Private Seller, newest naming rights sponsor, they do a fantastic job. Ray White Real Gain, they've been massive supporters of us since we began, and can't thank Pete enough for all the help he's given us. Sim Racing Edge for providing some prizes for the top 3, Witcher Electrics, and of course you boys at InterSim Esports Network who have been on board since the start and broadcasting it for us. Yeah, without you guys, it wouldn't be what it is. So, thanks for all that.
Well, it's our absolute pleasure, and big thank you to all the sponsors for the Australasian Supercar E-Series. As Raymond said, it does not happen, and this broadcast does not come to you without those guys being involved as well. So our absolute pleasure to bring you all the images here on the InterSim Esports Network. Hope you enjoyed watching it back, Raymond. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen, your second place getter tonight for round number 3 of the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar E-Series. It was the 23 entry of Pinnacle Esports Racing of none other than Razor Raymond Yeager. It moves us across to the first time winner here. It's taken him 3 seasons of the Australasian Supercar E-Series, the 29 from Pinnacle Esports Racing, the gentleman of iRacing, Gregory Spencer, mate. How good is that? You got the chockies, mate.
Did you just say gentleman? Come on, man. No, Aiden, look, I think it's pretty lucky, actually. Had major problems. Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, had major dramas with my wheel, and to be honest with you, we dropped back at the start because I really thought I was going to have massive problems. So pretty grateful for Raymond. Sort of pretty much get me through that. He was a gem.
Well, mate, it was a good solid drive, mate. You did drop back early. We saw that you did qualify up the front, and I did make mention 2 or 3 laps in. You wanted to lead that lap, obviously, got the pole position, got the bonus point, led the laps, and then you drop back, and you're playing the strategy. We saw that early. Obviously, there was a big one early, which you guys were lucky enough to navigate your way through, and then there was a second big one. So bar everything that was going against you tonight in relation to your steering and everything, you still put the car in the position to be able to get the job done. But I will put something towards you. I know Raymond was very confident there with the way that you were pushing, and thought confident that you could still go 1-2 if you went green, white, checker. How were you feeling if that was going to be green, white, checker at the end of that one? Because I'm sure there would have been another 6 or 7 supercars that would have been absolutely thundering down your neck trying to get the win for this one.
You know what? I actually think we would have been okay. Down the back straight at Daytona, the boys would sort of get up to you, but they wouldn't get past you. And then down that front straight, over the line, they weren't getting past you until after the line. So I actually thought we were going to be okay. But if that was in that yellow, I think Raymond would have been beside me, and that could have just not worked for us, because would have had to get a really decent start, and Raymond would have had to drop in behind us, and I don't know if that would have worked. So no, I was pretty confident, but hey, the Southern Star boys, they were pretty quick, and also the Sim boys. You can't write those guys off. There's good talent there, that's for sure.
100%. I think any driver that enters the Australasian Supercar E-Series, brought to you by My Private Seller, I think any one of the 32 to 36 drivers that show up each and every week, it's really a lottery draw who's going to win it. But we go into a little bit of a different format next week. We go dirt racing, mate. And I know you love a bit of dirt, and I'd expect you, I've had a couple of races with you in dirt lately in another purely dirt league for the supercars, and you know how to steer a car around dirt, let alone a supercar, mate. So you've got to be a little bit confident. Hopefully your wheel is going all right going into race number 4, but you've got to be a little bit confident heading into round number 4 next week in your own backyard, which is dirt, mate.
Mate, you're being very generous. I don't think so. I can get around, but you look at Darren and Andy and those guys, and yourself. You guys are amazing on dirt. So, mate, I just want to get out there and have some fun, and at least compete and not wreck anybody. So I'd be pretty happy if I can do that.
100%, mate.
Especially
but,
my teammate.
Yeah. Well, that'd be goal number 1. But Ryan, over to you, mate. Have a chat to Greg.
Yeah, Greg, that was an awesome win there. It didn't end the way that you would expect it to be, but yeah, definitely, if I'm correct, it is your first win for the Australasian Supercar E-Series. So just run me through your thoughts and your processes throughout the race. Did you expect to win tonight?
Oh, mate, no, not even close, mate. When we dropped back at the start, it was quite easy to hang on the back of the boys. When that first caution came out, I think I got into the side of Justin a little bit, and I did spin. I had a little bit of damage, and I thought that was it for me. But I got back, and things seemed to go well. I thought I was pretty quick around the outside. I don't know if the other guys were trying to save fuel, but I felt like I had pretty good speed. And when we went in for that last pit stop, I'm terrible at pit stops, and Raymond got out, and I think the boys were like 3.5, 4 seconds in front of us, and that's when I hooked up with Jai, and we dragged it back, and just went around the outside. I felt really comfortable, and I'm lucky Raymond didn't do a green white checker.
Yeah, you did mention that you might have actually gotten into the side of Justin there. Justin's race ended pretty early on. What are your thoughts on Justin securing the championship this year? Do you think he can go 3 from 3?
Oh, mate, he can definitely go three from 3. But I think he's had a couple of terrible rounds where he's got into a bit of rubbish, and so yeah, he's got a lot of work to do. But hey, he's a class driver, so let's see what he can do.
Yeah, thanks for the chat, and thank you, Aiden, for having me here on the broadcast. I'll throw it over to you.
No worries at all. Well, Greg, mate, P1 tonight. You got to be happy with that one. Of course, big shout out to all those sponsors, everyone involved to bring home the P1. The first time bringing home the chocolates here for the Australasian Supercar E-Series. It's taken you 23 rounds, but you finally got the job done in the 29 Pinnacle Esports entry, mate. So a big shout out to all those sponsors tonight.
Yeah, cheers, Aiden. Obviously, Witcher Electrics, Justin's electrical company down in Victoria. Sim Racing Edge for all our setups that we get. Obviously, you guys too for putting on the show that we have. 186. Speech and Language Development Australia that support us. And obviously the guys that help us with the league, and that is my private seller. Couldn't do it without them. Ray White, Rural Gander, Peter Madsen up there. He supported us from day one. And Edge once again, Sim Racing Edge. Can't do it without these guys. So thanks.
No worries at all, mate. And well said. Big congratulations once again from everyone at the InterSim Esports Network and everyone here for the Australasian Supercar E-Series, as I nearly choke on my own spit. Let's not do that as we're live. But mate, big congratulations on your P1. So your first place getter tonight and first time winner here for the Australasian Supercar E-Series. It was the number 29 from Pinnacle Esports, Mr. Greg, #Gregory Spencer in P number 1. Raymond Razor Jaeger in P number 2 and Jai, the lesser Schultz, in P number 3 tonight. But Ryan, thanks for joining me in the broadcast booth tonight. But I tell you what, it all doesn't stop here for the InterSim Esports Network as we come to the end of round number 3 of the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar E-Series. It's Sunday night. We'll go live again on Tuesday night. So we're going to be bringing you round number 1 of the Blendline TV TCR series on Tuesday night. So we look forward to bringing you all that action. Then we'll be bringing you the next round of the MSR TCR League as well. And then we'll be back live here next Sunday night for what will be round number 4 of the Australasian Supercar E-Series, brought to you by My Private Seller. We're going dirt racing, ladies and gentlemen. Strap yourself in for this one. Make sure you like the page. Tune in to our Facebook, YouTube page. Give us a like, give us a follow. Make sure you do not miss any of the action when we do go live here on the InterSim Esports Network. But once again, your winner tonight was Greg Spencer. Second place was Raymond Jaeger. Jai Schultz, P number 3. Ryan, thanks for joining me in the broadcast booth tonight. But from myself, Paul, Ryan, and Peter, everyone in behind the scenes of the InterSim Esports Network, that wraps up round number 3 of the Australasian Supercar E-Series, brought to you by the My Private Seller. We'll see you on Tuesday night. We hope you enjoyed, and good night.